So hello everyone, welcome to another one of our meetings, the Black Sessions. Today we're discussing episode 3, season 4, 3, right? Season 4, called Crocodile. So, psychopaths. I like the episode. For me, it was a bit different from most Black Mirrors. I feel like it lacked a little bit of technology, maybe. I think it was more relied on human nature than technology itself, but of course it had technology in between. So I would like to start by hearing your opinions on the episode, whether you like it or not. How did you feel about it? Ideas, thoughts, anything. Vero, you are the first one here, so I would like to start by you. What are your thoughts, opinion, reflections on the episode? Your microphone, just in case.
I enjoy. I watched the episode today in my lunch during my lunch. So the Cathy spoiled to me a little of the topic in the episode.
Yeah.
And so I watched the episode and I like that.
You liked it?
I like it. Yes,
Any
because I
emotions in particular? Any emotions that overwhelmed you or something?
no no, I like the, I don't know, the mysterious em, trama, no sé cómo decir trama,
You
topic.
found it mysterious. Which parts?
I don't know. I think in the first part when they with the other guy, the
The boyfriend?
woman and yeah, they I don't know, launch the
Ah,
body to
yeah.
the ocean. I
The
believe
land.
that
Yeah.
yeah, that would be the most important thing, but then
Yeah. It
then
got worse. It got
yeah,
worse and worse. Yes, it was like it went from one accident to a murder to like cost effect murder, and then it is escalated. So
yeah.
yeah, thank you, Vero. The second one here was Felipe. Felipe, what about you? What are your thoughts, opinions on the episode?
Hi,
Hello.
I really like this episode. I think as a context, it has this woman that is clearly a psychopath, or that could be discussed. I don't know.
Yes.
But I think that, as you mentioned, the technology part was small, but at the same time essential, because I think that the question here is the privacy of data, and who can access this private data. It's like our eyes or our brains are like cameras,
Mm-hmm.
so it's like having a phone maybe, and I think that that wouldn't be beneficial for society. And this episode, of course, is an
It
example.
shows it shows that we all have privacy we want to keep.
Yes, and it's funny because we saw in small things like the dentist, which was taking photos of a person
Yeah.
very, very far away. He was very ashamed, and maybe the porn movie was maybe the most intense thing that somebody can watch someone do or watch.
Yeah.
And but we don't take into account that uh, people that make worse things could be anywhere. So I think that
Psychopaths.
privacy should be uh, like uh, should be the same for everything. I mean, we cannot assume that someone is good. In some part of the episode, this woman, Indian woman, I think I'm assuming she was in
I don't
there.
remember her name. Her name? Nolan? No, Mia.
Mia.
Mia Nolan, yes.
But
And
no,
the
but
other one?
the one
The other one. I have her name here. Let me see. Her name is Sasha. No,
Sasha.
Shasia. Shasia.
Sasha.
What her name?
Sasha.
Shasia.
That woman in some part of the episode commented that this woman hasn't done anything wrong. So
Yeah.
why would you assume that from anyone?
Yes.
and
And
I think
I
that's
think, yeah, I think that's one of the questions. Like they're trying, for example, they put in the psychopath here is a mother. No one expects a mother to be a murderer, especially a kid murder, a child murder. That's something that most people would not believe. But at the same time, if we rely on this recording or memories, memories are not reliable either because there are subjectives. You, for example, maybe I am recording as I kill you, but you were, I don't know, you were hurting me in the back, so I was not looking at you, so it's not part of my memory, but I felt it. This is not associated with feelings, emotions, the environment, whatever extra information you can get from just what you see. I think what they're trying to show here is that memories are unreliable for you and also for others if others can watch it, because memory is unreliable. And I think that's the topic that they've been discussing, they're trying to discuss in this series in general. We see now this is the topic of the series: data privacy. And I think that every time they show us how they try to make memories and or delete like take away privacy and make memories something objective and official and make good use of it, it doesn't work out because memories are not reliable, humans are not reliable, humans are irreproducible, your soul, and all the topics we've discussed. So thank you, Felipe. Katy, what about you? I know I was in order. You were no, Gabby was the third one. It's not you. Sorry. Gabby, you were the third one here. So what are your thoughts, opinions, and reflections on the episode?
Really, I don't like it.
You didn't like it?
No.
Why not?
Because I usually need to be prepared to saw this type of dramas.
Yeah.
The first murder, I think, yeah, it's okay. It's a mistake. But the second and the third,
It's okay,
like
it's the murders. It's okay. It's just a mistake, tiny mistake. yeah. But then.
Yeah, I didn't make sense the way how the main character acted, because I don't understand, because she started, or she justified the murder of her ex-boyfriend with protect her family.
Yeah.
But in the end, murder a kid is, I don't understand all the episode.
Most of the time, psychopaths are kind of difficult to understand for people like us. I mean, I guess none of us is a psychopath. You never know. Speaking of that, you never know. So I have no ideas about you. I think you're good people, or you think that I am a good person. But the thing is that it's kind of difficult to understand psychopaths. Because, of course, in my case, I would not kill my ex-boyfriend. Instead, I would just try to convince him, or I don't know, if he talks to police, then I would talk to police and maybe say that he forced me to hide the secret, whatever. I would not kill the other person. But when you put yourself in the shoes of the psychopath and try to think as a psychopath, it makes sense. Psychopaths lack empathy. So she said that it was for the family, but it wasn't for her family, it was for her. She didn't want to lose, I think. She didn't want to lose whatever she had achieved in these 15 years. So then everything became lack of empathy. When she killed one woman, she didn't care about her past, her family. When she heard about her husband, she didn't care about her husband either. then even worse with the baby. So I think they're trying to show us that this is a psychopath that we cannot understand, we will never understand, but that's how they act. So maybe it's just that you are too sympathetic, I think, or empathic, because you feel too much and you cannot understand or try to think as a selfish person. But yeah, it's kind of difficult to understand.
One thing that made me I found curious was the fact the small mice, raton,
Yeah,
hamster
the pets.
can remember. I don't know.
I think it's not that he can remember, but he had the he had the recording device in his brain. Like, I think what they're trying to show us is that they are using these devices in everything, in people, so it's not a device. It's not a device, actually. It's a device they put in you. It's not that you have it in your brain like in previous episodes. This is like external. You put it in the brain.
Yeah, but this device, when used in people, the people usually smell things and hear sounds. So active the memories.
Yeah.
And start to talk about the
experience,
the moment, the experience, and the images appear in the device.
Yeah.
So how can do this with a hamster? I don't.
Very good question. Very good question. I think I don't know. It makes sense. How could they activate the memory? Because, or maybe it's like animals just store information. Maybe that's what they're trying to show, that they do not like necessarily memorize things, but just store information. But I think that if that's the case, this like extraction from I think it's a guinea pig or pets, whatever animal is, I think it had to happen right like soon after the murder occurred, because most animals have short memories. Especially, I think, I don't know much. We don't have any biologists here to tell us about the memories and brains of these animals. But I think it's a good point. How did they activate the memories? Maybe it's a plot hole. Plot hole are called you call those little holes in the story that makes no sense. Maybe that's one of those. We're going to hear the rest of the people here reflecting about that. Katy, what about you?
I certainly yes.
Thank you.
And so that, yes, this animal have a memory for 1 month. 1 month.
So it was not like a casual decision to put that animal there. They decided probably to choose the animal because the animal has good memories.
Yes.
Yeah. So it makes sense.
So I like the episode in general, but obviously during the episode I suffer because I watch in the night and I don't like. Also, Gabriela, I don't like so this type of episode or news. For example, in this week in the news appear a lot of murders, 2 murders probably. So I like in general, but one topic that shows this episode maybe is about the selfish in the first, because the man, he doesn't want go to the guild, como cárcel, yes?
Jail.
Yes. Because he has a family, or I don't know, I don't remember what
I think they showed that after the accident he didn't progress much in life. Like we see him, he's dressed.
No, in the beginning. You remember the woman say, we have to call to police, and the man say, no, I lose everything. No, I don't remember. But he has excuse for don't go to the guild. And then the woman don't wanna go to the guild.
Or prison.
Because prisons, yes. because in this moment, it was, she had a family, a future, a professional, I don't know.
Yes.
This is my opinion.
Especially I think lack of empathy. Yes, like you were saying, or selfishness. The guy in the beginning, it was an accident. It like we all watch when the writer came out of nowhere, and it was an accident. I think they were on drugs or maybe on alcohol. Like you see them on the disco, they are clearly on drugs. It's not
yes, in the episode,
that I know much about, of course. Yeah.
In the episode, they say that don't drink in the present. Como que, oh, sorry. In the beginning, maybe both are drunk.
Yeah.
Yes.
They don't drink
but
anymore.
then, yes, but then when the man go to the hotel, you can remember the woman offer a beer, and he says that don't drink
anymore. Yeah, because you see that this accident and the selfish decision he made in the beginning made him feel guilty. Like you see that. I think they show you that in 50, because it's been 15 years since the accident. So in those 15 years, he hasn't changed that much. He dresses pretty much the same jacket, same look, still not married. He doesn't talk about family or career. He stopped drinking. Like it affects him. But at the same time, you see Mia, and Mia is like, she forgot about it and she made a perfect life afterwards. Like she...
Because, yes, but because it doesn't, como que, it doesn't was our decision.
It wasn't her decision?
Yes.
But
because they don't call the police for the man.
I think we have to discuss that. We have to, I think that's more than an opinion than a fact. We could discuss.
Yes, o sea, I don't justify the woman, obviously, but maybe one person more to another person feel more guilty.
Yes. Yeah, technically she wasn't driving. Like she just went with the flow, like did what she had to do. But I think she made a decision. We're going to talk about that soon. But yeah. So thank you, Kathy. Jorge, what about you? You've been quiet and serious in that corner.
And yes, it's because I'm a little bit nervous, and because I watched this episode last week, and I really like it, and start to make some I will try to speak more slowly, because in this last week I watched the episode and I got a notebook with me and start to typing some topics, and I lost notebook.
That's a classic you. It's a classic Georgie story.
But it's okay. Yes, it's a classic story that I will try to remember. So
don't worry, it's okay.
Of what I want to talk, but well, you as my friend and my teacher knows, I'm not really good for series and movies. But when we saw the classic movie or scene of the drama of the psychopath thing, we can stay in one side, or on the good side of the drama, or in the bad side. I try to say we can see the episode in the eyes of Mia, or in the eyes of the victims.
Yeah.
So I think in the bad side, the psychopath side, Mia start maybe a chain reaction of murder, and in the end she becomes a real psycho, and kill a baby, and every human being, or who can attempt to her goals, including the hamster. No,
Yeah.
she killed the hamster. So, and we can see maybe that she won, and maybe she will continue with his life
No,
because
she goes to jail at the end, right? She's captured by the police because the
Yeah.
police watches the memory from the pet guinea pig or whatever animal, and they are able to see who's the murderer, and they track the face and right away know it's Mia. And
okay.
Yes, but she didn't kill the hamster.
no, it was alive. Yeah, she didn't kill the hamster. She killed the baby.
The final murder was the baby. Okay,
Yeah.
I didn't
Just
remember that.
Just that, not the hamster. I mean, seriously, just the baby.
But we can see, as maybe Gabriela comment, when she faced her older boyfriend, with who killed the first person in the highway on the ice. Well, I like to say too, the guilty of the boyfriend was truly increased in the next 3 years after the first incident.
15 years.
50 years?
15.
Okay, so sorry, I'm a little confused with the data.
It's okay.
But she continued with her life. She became an engineer or architect.
Architect.
Don't remember.
Successful.
Make a family and keep drinking. And maybe in this fact, the alcohol problems that Mia has keep dealing and increases his not guilty feelings instead of her boyfriend, who stopped drinking and make a life change, and he want to make things better, and he become killed, murdered by Mia. And a final comment, just to say, if we see the episode in the side of the psychopath, the Mia, I think that she has a very bad luck at the moment of the incident of the pizza truck and the guy who crashed in the end. If maybe she just not stay on the window when this happened, she will become the perfect crime.
Or kill the guinea pig in the same way. She could have done it perfect many times. If she hadn't distracted the driver, the first accident wouldn't have happened. If she hadn't stepped out of the window, the people who, I don't remember how she was, how they realized she was there, but if she hadn't stepped on the window and would look outside, no one would have known she was there. If she hadn't, I don't know, if she had just killed the husband and knew in advance that the child was blind, which is like a fun, sad, tragic fact of the story, that the kid was blind. If she had known that, she wouldn't have to kill the kid. Or even if she had killed the kid, she had to kill the guinea pig, and that would have been it. No one would have known. But that's not how life goes. Like most people, even like only a few people manage to make perfect murders. And normally the perfect murders are not perfect. I mean, imperfect murders are not perfect just because tiny details. You can be smart, very smart, as most psychopaths are incredibly smart, but that's not good enough. There are too many variables. Katy, yeah, go ahead before we go into Vito.
But in this case, I think that the person that killing people or make a perfect murders, yes, I don't know how can believe with this guilty, the
Because
person.
they lack empathy. Because they are not like most people. They do not feel bad for other people. So they do not feel guilt. They will always find excuses to justify their actions. So, and I think that's what they're trying to show us. Since they are showing us the story mostly from the perspective of the murder, we see that she has reasons. And I mean, we do not agree with what she does, but her reasons are, I think, real and fair. Like, she doesn't want to lose what she has achieved in 15 years. Now, I wouldn't kill anyone, but Vito, what about you? How did you feel with the episode? Opinions, thoughts?
Just finished watching it.
You just finished watching, so
right late. Yeah, that's why I came late.
yeah, don't worry, it's okay. We were just sharing our ideas. So go ahead, share your ideas and reflections with us, please.
First, I would like to say that the song appears again, the same song that appears in the season, the Easter egg. So I really like that song, and compared to other episodes of the TV show, I feel like this doesn't have a really huge plot twist like the other previous ones. But the guinea pig stuff, yeah, that was like the plot twist in this one, I guess. It's very close to the end, and it is something like I didn't expect, at least.
Yeah.
And it is something that is mentioned in the beginning of the episode. You don't expect that.
I remember that moment when they showed it was all resolved, and then they showed the animal. I was like, oh, they're gonna get it through the animal. We all realized that moment when they showed the guinea pig that was gonna be the solution.
Yeah, I also had the same concern. Like, how are they going to make the guinea pig remember?
Yeah,
if they don't. Probably, I don't know. It feels hard to find a way to force it, like the memory of a guinea pig. I don't think it's.
I don't know how they did it. I think that's why they don't show us how they extract the information. They were probably in the writing room, like saying, how do we do it? How do we do it? Let's don't do it. Yeah.
I mean, probably it is. I imagine that it is something like you do it like a little more voluntarily with people, like let them remember by themselves, but probably there is a forcing way to do it. Like,
yeah.
If you need it for an emergency, for example, or if it's the police who is using the device, because it was not only made for insurance companies, but it's also made for the police, I guess. It was the first idea of the device.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I assume
maybe
that
they drug you, or because you when you're conscious, you can easily skip memories, but when you're sleeping, maybe not.
Yeah, I did. I also liked a lot the acting of the women. I can feel in their face that she's suffering a lot.
Yeah.
By the way she drinks or anything, I feel like her character is really well interpreted.
It reminds me a little bit of I don't know if any of you have seen this movie, the girl with the dragon tattoo of the Millennium Saga. No? Yes, Felipe, yes. Did you find like she looked a little bit like Mia, like the blonde hair, very white skin, a little bit psycho? Short hair,
yes.
Short, very blonde, very white, very psycho. Thin, small, like very delicate, fragile woman that is actually a murderer. So yeah, and the acting was perfect. I agree with you.
And the last thing, I was surprised by how his husband didn't notice that she was going to like in shock state.
Yeah,
she was in shock, and the guy was whatever.
Because I think that's what they're showing us, that's how psychopaths act. Like even the closest to them do not realize that they are so good at hiding that.
Or the husband didn't know her well.
Or the husband didn't care either. Yeah, but she was like flat. She was like British, but they're like very not that emotional. They're not that good with expressions. So maybe it's not that weird for your wife to go get home serious and avoid you, and I don't know, do not talk to you. Maybe it's normal in their culture, more normal than here.
Yeah, I think if it was me, I would rather like try to run away, but she didn't even miss the appointment.
No. She wanted to be there. She wanted to be in the theater. Like she could have invented, created an idea, whatever. But I think it was maybe an alibi. She was trying to make it on time to be there. Alibi is like coartada. Yeah. So she was trying to make somehow. I saw all the faces. I needed to translate that word. She just like an alibi for the murder, like something. Oh no, I was watching my kid in the show. It couldn't have done it. And she almost actually hide the memory from the murder. Like at the very, very end of her memories, she actually saw the murder, like reflect. You see the murder on the screen. But at the beginning, you see she's making it. I was actually on her side at that moment. I was like, come on, cheat the machine, do it. And she almost did it. It was like everything was almost perfect. Thank you, Vito. So yeah, we would like to start by I think we will go into the discussion of whether she got involved in all this, or it was like she was escalating problems from problem to another problem, or if she was a psycho from the very beginning. But first I would like to hear your ideas on why do you think the episode is called Cocotrial? Anyone here who has an idea of what is it called Cocotrial? Because we don't see any cockroaches in the episode.
She was crying at some moment.
Cockroach tears?
Yes, I think it's maybe that.
Yeah, I also think that's my first impression. Yes?
She was crying from the last 3 victims, maybe. No, she wasn't crying when she killed her ex-boyfriend, I think. But she cried. But I think there are crocodile tears because she did it anyway. I mean,
yeah, like after the murder, like, oh my God, what have I done? When you knew you were doing.
it's maybe her own frustration of having to go through all of this like a nuisance. Like she would prefer not to do it, but she will do it anyway. So she cries maybe of frustration, but
yeah, I think that's when she killed the boyfriend. She didn't cry maybe, but it looks like she was about to cry or she was freaking out. And I really felt empathy at that moment, at that exact moment. In the first murder, it's not that I would kill my ex-boyfriend. Maybe sometimes I think about it, but no. I mean, I don't think I would be able to kill anyone. But I understood the rush, like the adrenaline rush that you feel. Maybe it was at the beginning. I thought it was just an adrenaline rush. She was freaking out. She didn't mean to kill him. And then you feel the frustration, like, oh, what have I done? Yeah. But then, yes, crocodile tears. Because she knew what she was doing.
Yeah,
and she had a plan.
I think she was feeling bad for herself only. And that's why
because
she
planned everything. You see that from the moment the woman of the insurance company gets home, she looks at the knife. So she knows that she will have to kill her. And then whatever comes, whatever that murder brings, whatever cost it has, or whatever actions she has to take after the murder, she's also willing to do it. And that's why she kills the husband and the family. Yeah. Anyone else who has a different idea about the title of the episode? You all agree that it's Crocodile Tears? I was reading that the director said that it was like, it was a different explanation, but I think Crocodile Tears is better. But the explanation was that when crocodiles attack, you don't see them until they go out and bite you with the big jaws and you're like helpless. So I think that's basically also what we see in this character, that you don't know you could not tell she's a crocodile. She is like going underwater and all of a sudden she gets you and you're dead. So maybe it could be both. Okay, so I see anybody else has ideas about the title. So let's talk about the psychopaths. I love this topic. Anybody here who has because none of us is a psychologist here. We're kind of, this is the moment when we think about Hernan. Where are you, Hernan? How are things going in the US? I cannot understand how can he prefer being on the streets on out of COVID country first world out of COVID country instead of being here in our meeting. I don't understand. But let's try explain our ideas of psychopaths, because I think we all mentioned the word psychopath here, but none of us is a psychologist or psychiatrist. So Jorge, what is your idea of a psychopath?
You really love this topic
I
in
love
any
this
kind of
you know.
conversation.
You know that
Um,
I always bring this out in any kind of conversation. Yes, I'm very
or
happy.
maybe it's that and plus the Psycho Killer song.
Yes, that's my second common reference. Psycho killer.
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I always like to think if maybe if we have a potential psycho brain very hiding in our consciousness, unconsciousness.
Like, you think that we all have that psycho inside?
No. It's
yeah.
Maybe it's that, or it's a quote I really like. Maybe can apply to this situation, and it's a single bad afternoon can make the most cuerdo de las personas
Insane.
in going crazy. And yeah, we saw Mia as a regular girl who was partying, and when she make the trash, high as fuck, maybe and drunk, she starts to reorganize her entire life in this bad moment. Maybe yeah, it's an accident. We can think this, but his brain maybe starts to make a different development of his future since this very specific point. So when the second murder was her ex-boyfriend, and she became with panic with the decision that I don't remember the boyfriend meet her in the hotel to talk and say that he want to confess, something like that.
It's not a confession, but he wants to reach out for the widow of the
yes, yeah. And well, maybe we can agree. I don't know. What do you think? But the second murder was a mix between the intention of stop him and bad luck again. So she, sorry, killed him. Oh, it's so complicated to remember the masculine and the female. Sorry.
Don't worry, it's okay, we get you.
And well, she tried to stop and then fall and break her neck. So we got the second murder. So we got a more percentage. ¿Está bien?
Percentage.
¿Cómo?
Percentage.
Yeah, of a brain that I think, it's my opinion, starts to transform into a psychopath. So the guilty, to explain with an example, the guilty at the beginning was at that point, and the second murder at that point, and the third murder at that point, and the psycho mind start to increase.
Yeah.
So at the end, we can see personality with lack of empathy, like you say, and lack of guilty, and she only wants to do it to accomplish her objectives, and doesn't. So I don't watch serial killers series. I don't understand, but maybe I remember a title of one to call Making a Murderer, maybe.
I love
so that. If I have a lower opinion of this, I think that we can all, as human being, we can make ourselves a murder with introspective situations and with outside situations. And in this particular case, I think that Mia are both constructed of factores externos.
Yeah.
And
Good point. Good point.
So-
Thank you, my friend. Thank you, my friend, for your contribution, because I think you took us to a very interesting point. Are we born psychopaths, or are we made or developed as psychopaths? Vito, what do you think about it? Do you think we are born psychopaths, or that we become psychopaths?
My opinion is that it is both. Like, if you don't have the genes, you will never be one. But if you have it and the circumstances are right, it might happen. Like, if some kind of people will never be one because they have other ways to solve the problems. Like, in your brain, there is like a fight or flight
Yeah.
thing that some people are better at fighting, others are better at running away. If your instinct is to fight, and also the circumstances are like you are under a lot of pressure or something like that, you might end up having that. I mean, but it's different because I feel like psychopaths are more like they prefer to do it voluntarily, not to be forced to do the
I was going to
murder.
say that. I was going to say that you can
It's
have,
hard
you
to.
have a mental breakdown, like a psychotic breakdown, and you or me, or I'm assuming that we are normal people here, that we can become killers because of the rush, because of the adrenaline, because of the pressure. But psychopaths have to do with planning, with not necessarily planning, but with having something to gain. Like they do it for their benefit, not just because of the circumstances.
Yeah, I think her attitude, more than before the killing, is after the killing what tells you that she's a psychopath. Like, she has really cold blood to cover their prints and everything. Like, not everyone will be like that. Other people will get in shock or I don't know, run away or something. But she was really fast and clever in covering her own track.
As most psychopaths. But for example, I don't see myself going to my kids for presentation after having just murdered a baby. I think I probably freak out and cry for hours and try to kill myself before doing whatever. So,
yeah, but for her, it was part of her alibi.
Yes.
So
it was just something she had to do it. She had to do it, and she did it. She performed. So yeah, I think she's a psychopath. Gabby, do you think she's a psychopath?
I don't know, really. I don't understand pretty well the concept of psycho.
Yeah,
so...
I should have started by asking you that first. But yeah, so I think we all have an idea maybe of what psychopaths are. I have studied the subject because, as my friend Tom told you, I am very interested. So I know like official descriptions, but I think we all have an idea, and that's basically what we want to, why I wanted to talk about that, because we call psychopaths everyone. Like, oh, someone is watching my pictures, oh, psychopath. It's not. That's not a psychopath. What do you understand by psychopath?
In this case, I think she could consider a psycho in the sense of she planning the way to hide the bodies. So I don't think she have a like moment of craziness, or I don't know how to say. I think she was clear in mind when she murdered the people.
Yeah.
So
like Peter was saying, cold blood. Like you have it clear in your mind. You don't get overwhelmed by emotions. It's like we're clear objective. Do you think that, and this is just what you think, do you think that psychopaths can be reduced only to murders, or you can find psychopaths in other forms?
Maybe I could relate the war with people who follow other people, who follow everywhere when.
So yeah, maybe they could have a little bit psycho inside. If you support a psycho, you're probably a little bit of a psycho too. Or maybe sometimes it's not that you're a psycho, but you're just like very vulnerable and very you have problems that it's easy for people to manipulate you, and you start believing. You see that too. There are, for example, the Manson, I don't know, Charles Manson, I don't know if you heard about him. He's a very well-known sociopath and psychopath, and he had a group of people who murdered a pregnant woman who was a famous actress, and other people. But the people in the group, they say that they were totally convinced by this person that it was the right thing to do. So maybe some of them are a little bit crazy too, or psycho, but the others maybe are just victims of whatever circumstances. I think circumstances are important here too. Yeah, Felipe, yeah, go ahead.
I would like to add that in this time of hippies, like Charles Mason were a group of hippies. They were very hard on drugs. So I think that maybe they were drugged when they committed the act.
Yes,
so.
We have drugs here too. So yeah, maybe they. I think that basically that's why they're presenting us the drug here thing, because drugs can influence you. Maybe they're trying to show us that she was influenced by drugs, and that's why she helped her boyfriend getting away with murder. But then we see that when she's out of drugs, she's the same way. So maybe that's the way they show us that in this case, maybe it's not drugs. It's not just drugs. It's also the person. Beto, do you have any ideas or concepts of what a psychopath is? Notions?
No, really. I don't have a real idea, but I believe that these people maybe is a person that lose the control in their actions, and then acts like nothing is happening.
Do you think that you could be able to do that? Do you think that most people is able to lose control like that and then continue with life?
I don't know. Maybe yes. Depend on. Yeah, because not only people that murder other people, that kill other people, is a psycho, in my opinion.
That's basically where I wanted to go. Elaborate, please.
Maybe that is a main, I don't know, actions. No sé cómo decir grave.
The most serious
action, but there are a lot of things that I consider maybe a lot with when people have a problems, mental problems.
You have someone has issues. Actually, there is when it comes to psychopathy, it's like autism. In the sense that no, I'm not saying that there is nothing in common between autists and psychopaths, but what there is in common here when it comes to psychology is that, or psychiatry, is that they have a scale. For example, in the autism spectrum, we don't see before a few years ago we had Asperger people, autistic people, and they were different things. Now they are the same. They're just part of the same spectrum with different ranges. So in psychopathy is the same thing. You can be a little bit psychopath or very, very psychopath. So you could have tendencies. Psychopath, and those tendencies do not necessarily mean that you will kill someone, but it could be that you will lack empathy and that you will use circumstances on your benefit, regardless of the effects on others. Katy, have you ever been, based on that, having the idea that a psychopath is someone who lacks empathy and who is willing to do whatever in order to get their own benefits, even if it means hurting or affecting other people? Do you know anyone who, or have you ever been a victim of something of a psychopath? Or do you know anyone or any famous person, maybe a president, maybe, that you may think that it's kind of psycho?
I don't know. I think about the psycho or the term, and I feel a little psycho, but little, in the way, for example, when I'm in a meeting and I look, for example, Alicia Silva Fuentes, and I search in LinkedIn, or
not a psycho.
Yes, and and I feel that this woman, she isn't a psycho.
Yeah.
Maybe, yes, no, isn't.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Because I feel that she's more intelligent, but in some circumstance, when like says Vicente, for example, in the last murder, I feel that in this murder, she shows como psycho skills.
Maybe only then.
because the other murder, it's about the circumstances. Maybe when you fight, when you discuss.
But actually, that's what makes it psychopathic. Is that it wasn't necessary to kill dead people. You could have like accept the consequences. Just accept that you covered a murder, or accept
this is
that
psycho also. This is psycho also, when you accept the consequence?
No, that's what psychos don't do. They are not willing to accept the consequences because they will affect them, and they only care about themselves. So so from the moment she killed her boyfriend, or actually from the moment she helped covering a murder, she was only thinking about herself, her boyfriend, her future, not thinking about the family. That they even disposed of the body. The family was not even able to find the body. Someone like not more normal people would just maybe run away and leave the body there for someone to find it and solve the problem. But no, they got rid of it.
Okay, so yes, my answer is wrong. But I don't understand your question. The first. When
my first question was if you have ever been around a psychopath in life, not necessarily a murderer, or someone that you feel like, oh, you know what, you're a psychopath.
Yes, in Curicó, I feel one time I feel that another person it was follow me. Yes, and I remember that ¿cómo se dice golpear?
You knocked?
Yes, I knocked at a house. And I say, oh, I can enter.
I mean, oh, that's sad. That's scary. That's the see guys, that's the kind of thing that happens to girls. So it could be that, but that person could be just a stalker, which is what I think you were saying when you Google someone or try to find out, because the difference between a stalker and a psychopath is that if you see me on a meeting and you say, oh, Alicia Silva, you Google my name and you realize that I am a very successful, gorgeous woman. You now, as a normal person or a stalker, you just do that. Maybe you get obsessed with my idea and you start following whatever I do. That's a stalker. But from the moment you start, I don't know, you start feeling that my success affects you, and you do things to, I don't know, gain benefit on whatever you think I am threatening for you. If you see me as a threat and you start doing things to stop me and so that you feel better, you could be a psychopath, because you are not feeling, you shouldn't care about what my life trajectory is, and it shouldn't affect yours. So this is basically an idea presented on the episode 2, which is basically that we like, what's the name of the concept? I have it here. Give me 1 second. It's a cycle. It's a very difficult word, but it's solipsism. Solipsism is it's a concept that is known my memory. That is, my feelings are the only feelings. Whatever I feel like love, for example, is what love is, or whatever I feel like pressure is what pressure is, or whatever I feel like betrayal, maybe she felt like the boyfriend was betraying her, is a betrayal, and not considering that the other person can have a totally different, completely different idea of the same feeling. And that's what we understand as lack of empathy, because having being able to think that the other person feels differently, even if we share the same emotion, is empathy. You try to imagine how the other feels. And that's something that psychopaths do not experience. Anyone here who has been around a psychopath who would like to share a psychopathic story, anecdote? No? Lucky you. Well, maybe it's because I am interested in this topic, but I think I've met psychopaths in my life. Felipe,
Do you know?
Yeah. Go ahead.
As you have studied this
It's not
subject,
like I am an expert, but I watched a few videos. No, I mean, read something. Yeah.
I don't want to offend anyone or anything, but I don't think anyone is an expert, because yes, you have this subject of study, but when you don't take this like fully scientifically methods, like you will have to make experiments with people to start to know objectively.
Objectively. Yeah.
Yes, to know exactly what a psychopath is. Of course, we cannot do that.
And not even science. Science doesn't know officially what is a psychopath. We are still understanding their brains.
Yeah. In a few years back, there was this. How do you say hospital for sick people?
Hospital, like mental hospital. Mental hospital. Yeah.
Oh, mental hospital. Yeah. They were doing experiments.
Madhouse. Yeah, you can call it madhouse in a very informal way.
Experiments, very basics experiment with electroshock and that kind of stuff that has proven to be, of course, just
torture.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that science has failed us in psychologically studies.
I was answering the message.
And that will always be like an obstacle, like not having the capability to really study our brains, because it will mean maybe doing bad things to people and that kind of stuff. So I think that there's a confusion between psychopath and sociopath, and I wanted to ask you what is the difference?
Difficult question. I always I think recently I was in a discussion. I think it was maybe with you, Vito, or in your house maybe, but I was talking about this. What is a sociopath and a psychopath? This is really difficult.
Because in my mind, sociopath might be more common.
Yeah, I think so. Oh no, I think psychopaths, like it's like every 10 people I think is a psychopath. So there are more psychopaths than we think. I think the main difference between is the empathy thing. The psychopath lacks empathy, and sociopaths may feel empathy, but they think that the ideas, the I don't know. And this is, I'm just saying what I think I remember from this distinction. This is actually one of the things I do not understand that clearly, the difference between these two concepts. But I think sociopaths is not about the empathy, it's about the need for everyone to accept whatever idea I have. For example, I think that Black people are a problem for society, and me as a sociopath, I will kill all Black people. There is no benefit in me, but I have an idea for this so my society. And the psychopath is like, I don't like Black people. Black people had made me lose money, for example, or I lost my boyfriend over a Black woman, so I hate Black women. I will kill all possible Black women. So that way they do not interfere in my way anymore. I think that's the basic difference. But to be honest, I have the same question.
I have some personal opinion only because of I don't know where I'm getting this from.
Yeah, we're all non-experts today.
But it's what I think. Sociopaths use a social construct for their own benefit.
Yeah, to excuse something.
Yeah, they can pretend many social interactions just to their benefits, even though
I think those are psychopaths. I think those are psychopaths. Actually, sociopaths are normally not that charismatic. They're weird. And psychopaths are very, extremely charismatic. I've known, like, my professional diagnosis was that I had a classmate she was a freaking psycho. And she was very charismatic. I started noticing, like, when I started seeing the signs, I was like, and she was very charismatic. I was completely convinced by her charisma. I did everything she asked me to do, and it's incredible. I was amazed after I realized. I was amazed how much she just did whatever she wanted to with me, and I am aware of this. I have a very strong personality, but she convinced me to do everything she wanted to do. They have this power. They are very good at faking being normal. As most now, just to finish this discussion, there was a study. I don't remember. Please don't ask me the sources because I've seen so many things about this. So, in one of these studies, they realized that there are 3 things that make psychopaths murderers. And it's not just because you're a psychopath, you're a murderer. But if you're a psychopath, that is something that is like, you can scan someone and you see signs of psychopathy. For example, psychopaths have a smaller frontal lobe, frontal lobe, the part of your brain that is here, is smaller. And this is the part of your brain that chooses right or wrong. And this is where you feel empathy. So this part is actually smaller. They are physically that they have physical traits in their brains that cause them to have a lack of empathy. And now, that's one thing. You can be maybe not that empathic. That doesn't mean that you will be a murderer. But if you add brain drama, brain damage, that means that if you have an accident, or if you are hit, or whatever accident that affects your brain, any kind of damage to the brain, plus a psychopathic brain, plus abuse, could be physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, any kind of abuse. Those 3 things are like the perfect recipe for a psychopath, a murder psychopath. And then you can become a serial killer, which is like the next step. Red Dragon. Yes, yes, that is Hannibal, the 3rd one, right? Or like The Silence of the Lambs, Hannibal, Red Dragon. Yes, it's a good movie, and he's a psychopath. Yes, I forgot it. And she's blind to things that we see in the episode. Okay, guys, So any of you who would like to share any other opinion, thoughts, reflection? No? No. So careful with psychopaths. They're everywhere, not necessarily murderers. They can be presidents. They can be your boss, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, or the teacher in charge of the course. It can be anyone. So yeah, just wanted to thank you guys once more for being here. It's been a pleasure. I had a great time, and I'll see you next Thursday for episode 4, right? This is the 3rd one, or no, or the 4th? I don't remember. For next episode, whatever episode it is after Coco Trial, that's the one. So yeah, thank you guys, and see you next Thursday. Be good, take care, and have a great weekend. Love to everyone. Bye. 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 Take care.